Thank you, John. Thank you for putting us back on your bottom fish list. And thank you to the organizers for this opportunity to tell you a little bit about Serengeti Resources. I'm a geologist, so of course I will be making forward-looking statements. That's what we do as geologists and explorationists. Tell you a little bit about the capital structure of the company. It's a company I've been involved with now for 12 years. I see one of our big shareholders sitting here in the middle of the audience, Dick. So at this point, we've got 71 million shares out, just over 92 million fully diluted. We have spent, to this point, $20 million on our principal exploration project, Kanika. That's our flagship project. And it was that spend and that potential of the project that attracted a deal that I'll tell you about in a minute with POSCO Daewoo that's really put this company and this project back on track. So at this point, we've got about a $12 million market cap, share price about 18 cents, and on the order of $1.2 million at the end of August, our second quarter. So copper, we've been saying this for the last 6 or 8 months, that copper had been a laggard price-wise as the prices of many of the industrial commodities turned around. I would have to say that that certainly changed in the last week. This past week, copper had the best week in 30 years, basically, since 1986. A tremendous run-up in the price of copper. And that is, I think if you read that quote at the bottom there, the conclusion of a recent research report's unequivocal to us. The only way by which future output can be secured is via an appreciation in the commodity prices, and copper was being referenced in particular there. So copper was a laggard. Its value is being recognized, and well, no, it doesn't go into lithium, cobalt, batteries and electric cars, but it sure moves around. It sure redistributes all that power to all those gadgets with copper winding in electric motors. I think there's something on the order of 150 pounds of copper in the average modern car. So what is the Serengeti opportunity? It's based on our Kanika copper-gold project, a discovery, in fact, that we had made in 2006, 2007. We have now matched that with a key partnership, funding in the guise of a partnership with POSCO Daewoo. We've, beyond Kanika, have a very large portfolio of exploration properties, many of which are outside of that joint venture and 100% held by Serengeti. We are a group of explorers and successful explorers, as we've demonstrated, with the discovery at Kanika and many prior to that in major companies. And then we're in a very prospective belt, a prolific district, British Columbia, and specifically the Quesnel Trough of British Columbia, which really hosts a lot of BC's copper-gold deposits. Now, the game changer, what's really been recognized in the last 5 years, I would say, in BC is that many of these porphyry systems, they're called alkalic copper-gold porphyries, have got extremely high-grade root systems. And that was first recognized in the New Gold's redevelopment, for instance, of the New Afton mine, Seabridge, the KSM project, Red Chris. Now there's an open pit being put into production there, but very, very significant, multi-decade production in the future will come from underground mining below that open pit. Kemess district, any number of districts in BC are showing this potential. So what is the Kanika opportunity? At this point, it's a It's a large deposit. We think that there's some very significant potential to find better grade within that system, and that's a recognition to give our new partners credit. That's a recognition actually that they made early on when we first presented this to them. We persisted through 2 years of negotiation to come up with a pretty good deal for, well, a good deal for them and a great deal for us. So they recognized the potential at Kanika. What they recognized was that we might well have underestimated in prior resource estimates, underestimated the copper gold grade of that system. We'd been focused for years on trying to make this bigger and bigger and bigger. And over the last few years, we've realized that we're a lot better off trying to make this a better deposit. So assess the grade of the high-grade core of that deposit. That's really what we're focused on. In addition to that, and this is something that John has picked up on here in the last couple of months, is we've used a deep IP geophysical approach there to sound down to 500-meter depths, or on the order of 500-meter depths, and we see the potential for very significant expansion of that system as well. So that's all coming in a company with about a $12 million market cap, $20 million put into the ground, and the next $8 million being spent by our partners, POSCO Daewoo. So what does that deal look like? $1.2 million was spent by Daewoo to earn a 5% interest in the project this year. That's a highly unusual deal. Certainly a North American company, major, would not have made that deal. So they vested at 5% for a $1.2 million earn-in. In March of this coming March, so 4 months from now, they have the election to spend the next $7 million to earn another 30%. We're increasingly confident, given the results that we're delivering, that that's going to happen. And then what's really important about this is we can step back in. We're the current operators of the project. We can step in at that point as the 65% owner and move the project forward. So we can, if we choose to, advance that project with our own funds after $8 million has been spent on it, and it should be in a lot better position. We are the operator of the venture. We've collected $400,000 operating fee on the 1.2 this year. We'll get a 10% operating fee on the next $7 million. So this deal should be cash flow positive to us, really, over the next couple of years, and most importantly, advance our key project. And then a bunch of other wrinkles in the deal, which are good. Daewoo's principal interest, of course, was concentrate offtake. That's why they're in the project. So what have we done with the Daewoo money? We mounted a modest drill program, I'd have to say. Earlier on this year, we drilled 3 deep holes, 3 of the deepest holes that we drilled on the property. And we show them in this longitudinal section. I can see time ticking away here. So oops, oh, back. So this hole here, 177, drilled through the resource, 179 off the west edge of the resource, and 178, we think now, just above. It appears to us that we've passed above a deep sulfide system that we're imaging with the IP. Now, the hole through the resource was pretty fantastic. A 438-meter intercept, averaging 0.7 copper, 0.8 grams per ton gold. That is the area that I've shown in the dashed line there, will be the area that we're focusing on with this resource revaluation, and I would have to say that's imminent. It's coming very soon, and that'll be the focus of that study. Looking forward, we see the potential within that large sulfide system to expand that system and make additional discoveries. Why do we think that's possible? If we look, I mentioned that the these deep root systems that exist in porphyries in BC. If we look at the example there on the left, KSM system of sea bridges, that for decades was drilled near surface, hundreds of thousands of meters of drilling done near surface. It's only in the last 5 years with deep drilling in the root systems of that very large porphyry that a billion-ton system there averaging 0.5% copper, 0.35 grams gold over a billion tons. So very, very large system. Of course, I mentioned the New Gold's Afton mine. So that's Kanika and the potential that we see at Kanika. We've got a number of other exploration properties, and we use a district approach. So we pick up key ground near existing mines and deposits. And this UDS property, UDS stands for up, down, and sideways, which was my vision of the structural reconstruction in this area. And what when we initially acquired it, there was potential for that UDS claim block, which is shown in red here, to contain the extension of the geology that hosted two deposits here, the Kemess underground project, which is feasibility stage, and then Kemess East, where Orico Metals is drilling off what appears to be a large high-grade copper gold system, which, if you can believe it, tops out at 800 meters below surface. It goes from 800 to 1,600 meters below surface. They put a hole out on that system last week, 600-meter intercept of 0.4% copper, 0.5 grams gold. Well, the target that we just identified, shown in yellow, is that could be an even simpler explanation here. That's a 7-kilometer offset across a left lateral fault potentially, and may well represent the faulted offset of an existing, the previous Kemess South deposit, which was a 3 million ounce gold producer, 350,000 tons of copper produced over 13 years. We saw the potential in that valley bottom and did an IP survey there earlier on this year and came up with a barn burner of a geophysical signature with anomalous copper, zinc, and gold geochemistry that could represent the fourth deposit in the district. I see John standing up, so I'll skip that one. We've got a number of other exploration properties that come around to our booth and, just check it out, check us out. So to recap, we've got a significant resource that work is being funded by a major partner. Their view on this project is that it potentially represents a near-term producer. They're interested in copper concentrate offtake. So we're increasingly confident that they will come into the second stage on that earn-in. And then, as importantly, we've got a bunch of other terrific exploration bets that could represent the next discovery. So thank you very much.